Hello everyone, welcome to our Let's Play series of Torment, Tides of Numenera. This is Colonel RPG as usual, and I'm very happy that it chose to join me today up here on this skull. It's quite clearly a skull. Come on, it's gotta be, right? I mean, it's got a jaw. I think this eye just melted or something. Actually, that makes total sense. Because this one hasn't. Last episode we came up here, we actually dealt with Numenera a little bit, we fled. Basically, that's what we did. Yeah, things are going okay in this new realm, in this new world for us. We did bring down a portal that was up there and killed a guy that was a statue. But that was all for the best because Blob over there, Blob of 3, he wanted the mask that we got out of there. So let's have a chat here with Phoenix and see what he has to say. Or she, I don't know, can never tell. We're too far high up. The man, well, look at that. The man looks nice enough and seems unassuming at best, but, and this is the strangest feeling, it's almost as if he doesn't exist. As you try to focus on him, a sense of dread builds in you. You're not afraid exactly, but you know you aren't safe. You want my name. It's been long since I spoke it. Let's see. How about you call me Fens? No, that's terrible. Hang on. He starts muttering. Finks. Phoenix? Phoenix. Yes, that's it. Phoenix. Call me Phoenix. He steps forward and puts a hand on your shoulder. You've come here. Perhaps you obey the call of the tombs and give me what I need. I tell you, I need answers. Someone gave me a note. It said to come here and I would find my answers. I would find the truth. But I can't understand this note. His eyes burn, literally, though his face seems untouched. What use is power if I cannot understand? What is the purpose of my power if I cannot see? Ask me. I do not know. Okay, so he's a little bit contradictory. I also don't understand it over here. And give me what I need. Perhaps you obey the call and give me what I need. This is a weird way of putting it. Perhaps you give me what I need. You know what I mean? So he's a little bit weird. Does he know, he thinks? Of course not. But perhaps his questions can lead us both to knowledge. That's a good perspective to have. So he's a good perspective to had. That's what I said. Anyway, can I see the note? I might be able to shed some light on it. He slows. Ask me of wisdom, and I may grant it to you.
I'll remember that.
If you can show me that you know, then I will share my knowledge with you. So, let us talk. You will ask me your questions, and with them, you will share your insights. Ask our questions. Alligator rubs his chin and stares intently at Phoenix. You don't want our answers, do you? I want your wisdom. Yeah, that's a fantastic way of looking at it. I mean, if he knows we're not gonna know the answer, forcing the other people to just share their perspective is often the best way to, learn a little bit more than just asking them outright, because they're not gonna know, right? So let's see if I can. I don't think I'm gonna have any influence by asking. Maybe I am, actually, because we have. Let's ask him this. Tell me about yourself. He's not gonna like the question, but yeah. I have decided. My name is Phoenix. He says the name as though tasting a new wine. He holds up his hand, and for a moment you can see light fading through it. I am a seeker? Is that how one would say it? Yes, I am a seeker. It is wisdom. Wisdom I seek. He closes his eyes and starts laughing. All the things I've found. The structure of the world is not as you imagine. What you see and feel is nothing more than the varied interactions of fundamental forces that apply rules to subsequent larger pieces. Those pieces become what we call matter, what we call meat, what we call reality. He reaches out to touch your shoulder, and his hand passes through you, and you feel nothing. He reaches out again, and this time his touch is cold. It is fire, it is acid, and starshine, but you are undamaged. Enlightenment comes from within, he whispers, and he begins to cackle. Or does it come from without? That's an interesting. I think it comes from not both. That's just a wimpy. That's a wimpy answer. I'm not gonna say that, although my character is kind of wimpy. Should I say that? Okay, so my personal answer is that it comes from within, because what comes from without doesn't actually, it doesn't matter. It's like you're reading a book. What does it matter if you don't know the language, right? So that's the without. The book is the without. The within is your knowledge of the language. So that's where the enlightenment comes. What feeds enlightenment comes from without. But my character is gonna say both. Let's see if that's what he says to that. He probably is not gonna agree. It can. His eyes gleam. Find answers within. Let another show you the path. Both lead to surprising destinations, if you let them. Oh, that's an interesting way of looking at it. Cool. That's... Although, you know what he means? Like, enlightenment is the path. So, where does it come from? You can know, but you can also let somebody else know for you. So why don't you remember your name? Names are a construct of consciousness, but is there some fundamental importance to them? Or to consciousness itself? If so, he thinks, is life also important if it has no consciousness? How would it know? Well, what does my character... These are very fundamental questions. My personal attitude towards this is, how do you define consciousness? And then you're stuck if you ask that question, because unless you can answer it. Let's see. Consciousness is just a short period in between oblivion. That's too pompous for my character. Isn't consciousness necessary to assign importance or other values? That's another wimpy question, or a wimpy answer. Yes, although the importance is what we make it. Oh, that's... Well, let's go with this one. I think my character is gonna like the last answer. Yes, I believe there is meaning to our lives. That's not... Sure. On what basis do you make that judgment? He asks. Faith? Hope? Sound rational observation and experience? You say believe as though it were a talisman to hold you free of account for your thoughts. But I tell you that it's a chain. Well, it is, but only if you take it as a chain. You can also let go of believe. It is a chain, but a chain. Did you say chain with a ch, or is it chain? No, chain would be, yeah. It needs to have a chi. I can follow up on that. Are you from this world? He's gonna say yes, most likely. He pauses, frowning. It is familiar to me. The lines, the curves, the structures, but it is like a poor sketch of the world I remember. I see its textures, its strokes, and I see the medium on which it is drawn, but I can lift the sketch and see the truth beneath it. I do not know my origins. Okay, he doesn't know his name, he doesn't know his origins. He was talking before about what makes up matter. Actually, this is an interesting thing, because our current understanding of physics actually supports the theory that matter doesn't exist. There's nothing material. There's no matter. Matter is not a thing. There's only energy and vibrations. And understanding that is actually fundamental for quantum mechanics, because there's weird stuff that exists if you think of matter as matter. Like, what is it called? Theoretical particles? Or is it... there's a sort of particle that has interactions with other particles, but that doesn't actually exist. And that understanding of those particles only exists like that as a made-up particle, because we see particles. There are no particles. There's only energy, and the manifestation of that energy is what we see as the real world. But so he was talking about that. I'm not really sure if he's like some manifestation of physics, because he was also talking about that right at the beginning. He says something. You want my name? It's been a long time of fans. You know what I mean? He's like a manifestation of the world, of the laws that bind this world or something. And maybe that's why he can see where he comes from. I don't know. Anyway, can I see the note that brought you here?
Updated my journal.
I'm gonna ask that again. You have the mind of a seeker, not merely an explorer. Yes, you may take the note. It passes you a piece of engraved synth. Return it if you are able to find my answer. Okay, let's see what it is. This ragged synth square is engraved with scrolls and symbols, presumably some kind of writing, but it is mostly unfamiliar to you. Phoenix says the note told him to come to the Valley of the Dead Heroes, and that he would find the answers he needs. He gave it to you because he has found no answers, but he has not so far. Wait, because he has found no answers, but he has no... He gave it to you... Oh, maybe there's a word missing. He gave it to you not because he has found no answers... But he has not so far. Anyway, he hopes you will find them in his place. Although the engraved symbols are mostly incomprehensible, 4 numbers are written in the truth. Yeah, the language. One on each line of text. 1, 5, 3, and 5. Okay. That seems too simple to be a solution to a puzzle. So, have you had any trouble from the cultists here? He smiles. Trouble? Not for me. They have come for me many times. They do not leave. The fact that he stands in the middle of the valley alone and safe supports his theory, or his story. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Okay, so We haven't explored everything, but I am wondering if this is actually gonna connect with something that we have explored already. So that's, yeah. So we have the light minin over here, and that connects us up over there. And yeah, okay. Let's look at things down here. We have looked at this already. It doesn't really matter. Don't talk to our guys right now. Let me save the game here. We have messed with that already. Let's try this thing. It looks like trapped minions, doesn't it? A little bit, maybe? I mean, at least this one over here is a... Nah, they have the same sort of outline. It's kind of like a Doctor Who-like crack in time or whatever that is. Let's see. A tall wire and metal frame stands on top of a synth base. The base contains dozens of carvings in a foreign script. The frame has been cunningly devised from strange materials, and within it, colored lights curl and intersect like smoke, dancing in a wavering helix. The lights occasionally combine to create human figures, which dissolve in a second or two without ever resolving into distinct features. This was the traditional memorial place for our village, says Aligern. The carvings, I mean, the contraption, I built it. He laughs a whisper of humor. I don't even know if all these people are dead, but I built it for them anyway. You built it? Why? It is a memorial. What else would it be doing here? Give me a moment, will you? He doesn't wait for the answer, but walks towards the monument. He stands, hands folded in front of him. The tattoos that normally writhe across his arms are still and well. He lifts his head after a moment and sees you watching him. Well? Well, what? I know you want to ask. Well, listen. He runs his fingers along the markings. It's everyone I've ever cared about. Distant family, cousins, uncles, and aunts. People I'd known my whole life, grew up with them. Took them for granted. He closes his eyes. And close family. I was an Aeon priest in an aldea called Orman, off to the west of Sagas Cliffs. A little place not really on any maps, but I found plenty of ways to keep myself occupied. Kept up the town's defenses from the roving animals, looked at the Numenera they dug up or found, and spent my days with my family. So what's changed? He shakes his head. An accident. A terrible accident. What kind of accident? He gives you a long, slow look. Someone found a device. A frame, really. Or a weapon. Someone activated it. And then my people were gone. Someone, he thinks. Matkina? Because this connects directly with what Matkina showed us. No, actually it wasn't Matkina. That little device, was it? No, it might have been Matkina. That device that we read a few episodes ago, quite like 10 episodes ago or something. The device that we read was from somebody else, another cast-off. I don't remember exactly, but that other somebody had it must have been another cast-off because it was the the mirror caster. I think that was the name. And we saw something, but I don't know. I've been looking for my people ever since. Following the trails I could find, trying to find any clues I could find about the frame, who made it, what it's for, but I couldn't dig up anything. And I couldn't find a traveler who caused the device to be activated. Problem is that traveler is hard to find. Slippery. People know about him, but they don't know where to find him. Maybe we'll have more luck in Mil Avest. Maybe then I'll get some answers. A half-smile plays on his lips. They must know a lot about the changing god. I appreciate your help getting there. Come on. We've spent enough time here. Well, I kind of wanted to mess with this a little bit, but... Let's see. The helix continues its revolution, the lights swaying hypnotically. It's soothing, in a way, a piece that invites somber meditation. You reflect for a moment, and on Aligern's village... Aligern. I always forget, I apologize. Wait a minute, the village, yeah. Whom he built it to memorialize. Then it's time to move on. Okay, so that thing that we got, the little piece of code, I wonder if he's gonna be... Let's try this again. Oh, I got a debuff? Huh, sure. Let's examine the hand again. There's nothing going on over here. Why do I have a debuff? Oh, because of the minus intellect edge. Okay. So I'm not... should I mess with this guy? He was pretty aggressive, so I'm gonna wait. Let's have a chat with these guys over here. They're not gonna say anything, are they? No, they just want me to get away. Okay, let's go up this light minim, I should say, and that's the dark one. Okay, let's go up this way and get ourselves up here. There's things up there. Oh, A patch of white light hangs before you, a tear in space like glare bouncing off a window. Except there is no window. Within the light you see a play of shadows like those on a wall opposite a door when someone walks past outside, except there is no wall. But there might be a door. There is certainly a breeze coming from inside the shimmer and echoes of sounds you are not hearing around you. If you stepped through, you might go anywhere, or maybe nowhere. It could be just a trick of the light. Okay, let's examine the light more closely first. The patch of light seems to follow you as you walk around it, always facing you. It doesn't look like much, just a trick of the light, but you get the strangest feeling that it's watching you, the way it moves and pulses. It feels alive. Yeah, it's a living thing. Let's just walk into it. You step into the glare and it envelops you, blinding you, then dissolves you into twinkling motes, drifting in a sphere of light. The light carries you through cold darkness, weightless, bodiless, selfless, towards another patch of glare. Then suddenly, you are somewhere else. Yep, and buggy as well. That was... that hasn't been fixed yet. Okay, didn't make a sound either. That was interesting. Let me save the game here, and let's mess with this thing. It's just a container, so yeah. We have Amplified Encephalic Rush. That's nice. I need those. Don't we have Encephalic Rush normal ones, and that one's an Amplified? Yeah, sure. Whatever. I don't see the need for... Oh. I can help you find what you're looking for, says Tantalum. Are you like the guys down there? Not really, but the dead guys are. Or they look like. Yeah, that's another... Who are these guys? Over here we have no bodies. Although they might be some of these guys. Some of the... Anyway, let's mess with this thing before we talk to that guy. Looks nice. Looks appealing.
Erritis? I'm sorry I called you tiny before.
Oh, don't say stuff out... Oh, I wanted... Okay, I'm gonna try something here. I'm not gonna read this. Let's not do that. Leave alone. Okay, yeah, because it interrupts their dialogue, and I'm just gonna reload a save here because I don't want to waste that dialogue. That sounds interesting. And I think I interrupted the dialogue already. Oh boy. Yeah. As long as it doesn't interrupt the dialogue, it's cool. This small alcove is about the size of a small hovel. Its sole virtue is that it is a shelter from the wind and from the sight lines of casual passerbys. The runes carved above its entrance fill your mind with a wordless message of catastrophic danger. After a moment's reflection, you recognize the nature of the runes. They are ancient warnings set here to discourage the unwary and create a psychic burden capable of communicating to nearly any life form in the world. Someone slept here, didn't they? Asks Rin. They wanted to hide, but they didn't know how to hide. She puts her hand in her pocket nervously. I hope they found someplace better to go. This doesn't feel like a place to stay. It feels like hunger. And she hugs herself. Let's go. I don't like this place. Erritis cradles his forehead in his hands. He mouths the word no, then swallows, shaking his head. He seems smaller than you recall. I don't like this place. His voice is a whisper. His hands fall to his eyes, and he touches them as if they are in pain. Are we leaving? I want to leave. We should not be here. We tried to stop him. You failed. What's wrong, Erritis? Nothing. He swallows hard. I don't want to say. Not here. Please, I'm begging you. Let's go. Of course. Let's go. He presses the heels of his trembling hands against his eyes. Let's leave the alcove now. Okay, so he wants to talk. And I want to talk to him. Let's see if this guy says anything. So we got an exit over there. And we got stuff over here. Does this... No, he doesn't look back. Okay, so let's just go over here and see what we have. We have another thing. Okay, let's see if there's somebody tied to red.
I appreciate the chance to stop by Ormond's monument.
Oh.
Been too long since I visited.
Nah, it's fine. I'm sorry about what happened to your family, Aligern. Shock registers momentarily on his face, replaced quickly with a short smile. Appreciate it. Come on. We've got to get to Meal Avest. Sometimes he's really not like his sire at all. Yeah, he's probably just used to me being the changing god himself. And he sounds like a jerk. So, yeah. That's how it goes. So, again, how are we holding up? Let's ask that. As well as can be expected. Okay, so what do you know about the valley anyway? Burial place for countless civilizations. Not in the valley itself, but below it. My Aldea's memorial is here. It used to be peaceful, serene, a place where people could come and think for a spell. I've never been to the necropolis. Never really had any urge to see it. None of my dead left any remains anyway. Huh. Sure. Okay. Let's have a chat with Aligarn. Oh, not Aligarn, with Erritis and,
Why? Why are we here again?
You have returned at long last! Ignore your pain and push on. Push on. This is your moment! Oh, wait a minute. Why are we... That's... I do wonder if we haven't been talking to Erritis, but just somebody in his head or something like that. You have returned at long last. He's talking about Erritis. This, Erritis begins brightening. This is my moment, isn't it? Do I get to die here in glorious combat? Oh, am I fighting an army? We aren't here... What? Your thoughts told you to ignore your pain. What's wrong? Wrong? Erritis chuckles through his teeth. Nothing's wrong. I'm a living legend. I can't complain about anything. I can't. His glow intensifies, and then he straightens. He casts a look around, sags and frowns at you. I hate to criticize you, but we should already be having a desperate last stand. It's awfully quiet here. You should have planned things better. You don't actually want a last stand, do you? What a silly question, he says, shaking his head. Of course I do. How else am I supposed to survive against the odds? Okay, so I'm talking to two people here, I think. Somehow. I'm not really sure, but it's weird. It's really crazy. This guy's crazy. So I think we shouldn't have left the alcove. But he said, let's not talk about it, not here. I'm still looking for the alcove of yours. He's gonna say the same thing. It's not mine. And actually, I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, so, yeah. This is the guy without the fiddle, without the yellow thing around him that we need to help. Not the guy that we are traveling with right now. So, let's go. Let's do this thing. The alcove remains much as you left it, a narrow line of footprints carved into the layer of dust on the floor. An open ebony box lies on the shelf before you. The crude wooden herder's crook rests behind the box. Let's pick up the crook first. You stretch out your hand to take the crook. Beside you, Erritis moans. A wave of pale fire explodes from the crook, and everything goes white. You hear screaming. Perhaps Erritis's, perhaps your own. Thunderous voices bellow beyond the hissing wail of that endless ivory wall, and something is rushing at you, something that you can't see. A fistful of senses, emotions, memories, and fear strikes your mind, driving you back a step along the dusty floor of the alcove. Something has changed inside you, inside the labyrinth. You hear a voice in your mind, a voice very much like Erritis's, but small and afraid. You look over at him. Erritis is staring at the shelf, hands slack to at his side. The glow is nowhere to be seen, and he looks weathered, weary, old. You follow his gaze. The herder's crook is gone. What just happened? I went somewhere, he mumbles without looking at you. I stayed here in my amazing, heroic body, but I went somewhere else. Without looking at you, his hand lifts from his side and points at your forehead. He does not seem to be aware that his hand is doing this. Then his glow returns like the sun rising behind a hill and swallows him. He smiles, dropping his rebellious hand. Why are we just standing here? He says, looking around. We should be fighting, feasting, jumping from roof to roof. Let's go find some roofs, he gasps. Is this a roof? What happened? The hero's companion took us to the alcove. We feel strange. We feel weaker. I don't know what to say. Is this Erritis? I don't know what to say. I don't know what to think. Let's look inside the ebony box. There is no sign of what is empty, of what this empty box once held, but you do note a carving of an eye at the bottom of the box with a pupil made of 2 crimson concentric rings. If you squint, you can just make out a human figure at the center of the eye, holding a sword in the air. Erritis groans, and you look over. An untroubled smile graces his face, but you notice that one of his eyes is watering. Erritis, are you all right? Yes, very, he says, nodding at you. A tear streaks down his narrow cheek and around his cheerful grin. But bored here, now that you ask. We should leave. We should leave now. A tear. So, one of his eyes is watering. He whistles quietly to himself and looks away. Okay, let's not mess with that for right now. We need to fix this guy. But how can I die? I need to die. Let me see. I mean, it's a quick way to die over there. I can't do anything here. I mean, if I could... let's try go... No, we have things to do up here, so let's not mess with that. Yeah, we really need to go to the Fathom, because I wanna fix that. Let's mess with this thing before we talk to that guy. Let's just save the game as well. What is this? A huge crystal floats in front of you, seemingly unaffected by the wind that washes through the valley. Within, red and blue patterns lazily circle and twist. The crystal hums softly, almost invitingly. It has been infused with tidal energy. Its colors are emblematic, and you can feel the tendrils of force that coil from it, stretching towards some distant, unknown destination. The crystal swirls madly, and your mind is pulled back into memory, but not your own. This is a stranger's life. It's not the first time this happens as well. It's like the cat down there. A life of torment. A lifelong torment. From his first conscious moment, he has been surrounded by monsters, a sacrifice to the unseen. A hair's thickness from consensus reality. Horrors crawl and gibber, and he must howl with them or be devoured. When at last he can open a door to the world of sanity to escape this endless pain, he does, and he steps through into an abattoir. Robed and hooded cultists devour the dead, and they revere him for the journey he's undertaken. In their adulation, they strive to follow his path, wallowing in their own shame and agony, an endless burlesque of horror they hope will end in transcendence. He flees from them, from a darker menace inside him, but they follow, inescapably, his children. Dendro Horror? Could it be? Or is this a reference to Planescape? Because there's a lot of stuff over there, but I think this might be also... The Children of the Endless... what's the name of the guys that are over here? No matter where he hides, they linger on the other side of the door, awaiting a new revelation, making bloody offerings of themselves. Then, one brings a different sort of offering. A dripping charnel sack that spills out a girl. Choi, the man calls her. Still alive, just long enough to look at him with bleeding eyes before she's gutted. For you, the man says. He flees into a hellscape, into madness. But they follow him everywhere, grinning, bloody, adoring. Children. But that's not them saying anything, that's just what they are. Wait a minute. A dripping charnel sack that spills out a girl, the man calls her. So we have a name here. I'm gonna write it down here because I'm not really... How? I just... I punctured my... Didn't puncture anything, but I just prickled my finger with a pen. I was trying to do this. You can hear that? Yeah. So Choi. This might be the changing god. I think it is. And these are the children, but they are... The Endless Gate? What? I don't remember the name of the guys that are over here. I think they might be. Anyway.
I'll remember that.
Then the crystal swirls before you again, and the memory fades. But something clings behind, like rancid grease. The horror of what was done to the girl Choi hangs on you, your memory now as much as it was the man's. And his own suffering lingers too. The cultists who beset him seem little different from those who now haunt and arrow the valley. Yeah, it is. Perhaps by unraveling this crystal's tangled skein, you will learn some of their secrets. Yep, let's try and do that on the next episode, because we're out of time. So I'm Colonel RPG, and this has been Planescape. No, it hasn't been Planescape. I was gonna say it's been Planescape Torment. It's in my mind. It seemed a reference at first. The hooded cultists. I don't remember if they had hoods, but anyway, this has been Torment, Tides of Numenera. I really hope you've enjoyed it, and if you did, go ahead and leave a comment, like the video, but above all, thank you so much for watching, and I hope I'll see you next episode. Bye bye.